Hello everyone. We are now starting with the fourth part of our topic on strand fopping 2. In the previous section, we looked at alkyl halides. In this part, we are going to be looking at the chemistry of amines. So let's see what amines are and where are some of the places where amines can be commonly found. Amines are organic compounds which are containing the alkyl group together with a nitrogen atom. These are derivatives of ammonia, which means alkyl halides, which we have learned and studied in the previous section, reacted with ammonia to give rise to amines. Some of the very commonly used places where amines are found in are dyes. Okay, one such example where you can find amines are dyes. And the next one is in pharmaceutical drugs, such as painkillers. Most of the painkillers, such as morphine, they contain an active ingredient of amine. Have you ever wondered what causes fish to smell the way they do? Now, the reason why fish smell the way they do is because of the presence of amines in their body. So, the fish smell is due to the amine. According to the International Union of Pure and Applied Science, we are going to look at how amines are named. Something very important we keep in mind is the order in which the amines are named. First, we have to write the alkane name followed by the word amine. Let's look at example number 1. In this particular example, the nitrogen group is attached to one carbon. A one carbon organic compound is known as methyl. A CH3 group is a methyl group. So when we are naming the amine, the methyl will become methane. So you're going to use the prefix methane and then put the word amine so that it becomes methanamine. In the next example, we have a 2 carbon group attached to the nitrogen. So these 2 carbon groups are known as ethyl group. The ethyl group is going to become ethane. Now when we are going to name this amine, it's going to read as ethane amine. In this example, the first thing we are going to be doing is to identify how many carbon atoms are bonded to the amine group. Since we have 3 carbon atoms, we must find out the carbon number which is attached to the amine group. So since the amine is attached to the carbon on the right hand side, that carbon is now going to have the lowest number. So it is going to become carbon 1. And because we have a 3 carbon group, it is called a propan group. Now when we are going to name this amine, we are going to give position to the carbon as well on which the amine group is found in. Therefore, it is going to be propan 1 because it is amine group is on carbon 1, and then you put the word amine. In the fourth example, you can see that the amine group is actually attached to the carbon in the middle. So in that case, we are going to do the same thing. Find out how many carbons are attached to the amine group. So we have a 3 carbon parent chain, the longest chain of carbon atoms. Always remember, whenever we are identifying the start from one carbon, keep on going until we reach the next. So we start from this carbon here, which is sticking out on the end. Keep on going to the right until we meet the last carbon. So this is our longest chain of carbon atoms. That's carbon 3, which is the propan group. Now when we number the carbon atoms, it doesn't really matter which side we are going to number it from. We can number from the left or the right, because it is symmetrical. So that's going to be carbon 2 and we have carbon 3. The amine is falling on carbon number 2. Therefore, when we are looking at the parent chain, which is propan, the name of the molecule will be now propan 2 amine. Propan 2 amine because propan is a parent chain, 3 carbon atom. Carbon 2 is having the amine group, that's why propan 2. And then we put the word amine. In the fifth example, let's have a look at this molecule and see how different this is to the previous ones we have named. Now in this case, you can see the nitrogen is attached right in the middle. And on the left side of the nitrogen, we have one group consisting of 2 carbon. On the right hand side, we also have another group consisting of 2 carbon atoms. So this time we have 2 groups directly attached to the nitrogen group. Therefore, when we are naming this amine, we are going to name these groups separately. So we will have the 2 carbon atoms on the left hand side as ethane. The 2 carbon atoms on the right hand side will also be ethane. So when we are naming this amine, we are going to put N first. The N is going to symbolize that it is a secondary amine. Ethyl, ethane, amine. So you can see when you have more than one group attached to the nitrogen, the first one will have a YL, the second one will be alkane, and then you use the word amine. Usually the first word that we are going to start off with is going to be following alphabetical order. Now in this case, since both of them starting with E, it doesn't really matter which of the ethyl group is going to come first. However, if you have one ethyl and the other one is methyl, then you are going to follow alphabetical order there, where E will come before M. And the last one. First, you must always look at the nitrogen and see how many carbon the nitrogen is attached to. So in this case, the nitrogen is attached to 1, 2 and 3 carbon. So if the nitrogen is attached to 3 carbon atoms, it's a tertiary amine. To name a tertiary amine, we will put double N, and we are going to see that in a while. So let's look at the branches now. So we have a methane group on the right hand side, a methane group which is at the bottom here, and a methane group which is on the left hand side. So we have a 3-methyl group. Now when we are naming this amine, we will put NN because it's a tertiary amine, and then you're going to put the word dimethyl because there are 2 methyl group. Dimethyl methane amine. To the words. So first word is going to have a YL, then the second word is going to be AN. Similarly here, the first word is going to be a YL and the second one will be a AN. Now we are going to see how we are going to classify amines in 3 different types. We have primary, secondary and tertiary. In a primary amine, the nitrogen is attached to one alkyl group. Let's look at this example here. So now we look at this nitrogen atom. The nitrogen is attached to 2 hydrogens and 1 carbon. So everything that is bonded to the carbon is one group. That's one alkyl group. So we have one alkyl group and that is the primary amine. Then we have the secondary amine. This is where the nitrogen is attached to 2 alkyl groups. Now in this example, you can see nitrogen is in the middle and on the left we have 2 carbons. On the right we have 2 carbons. So nitrogen is attached to 2 carbon atoms. In a tertiary amine, the nitrogen will be attached to 3 alkyl groups. So if you look in this example here, which we have learned in the previous section, we have a 1, 2 and 3 carbon atoms directly attached to the nitrogen. So it is very important that when you are classifying the amine, you always look at how many carbon is bonded to the nitrogen. Okay. Let's look at some of the properties of amines. The intermolecular bonding in amines is strong hydrogen bonding because there is a nitrogen group, and this nitrogen group can form a hydrogen bond with the hydrogen of another amine group. Let's look at this example here. So we have an amine group here and we have another amine. Now the hydrogen of one amine will bond to the nitrogen of the other. So this hydrogen and that nitrogen will bond with each other to form hydrogen bonding. Okay. Next one, amines also have weak van der Waals forces. Now these weak van der Waals force exists between the alkyl groups. So if you look at this example here, we have an amine group and another amine group. Now between hydrogen and nitrogen it is hydrogen bonding. But between the carbon group and another carbon group, that bonding is known as the weak van der Waals forces. Now as the amine gets bigger and bigger, the alkyl group will also get bigger. Therefore, the van der Waals force will also increase in their strength because of the longer chain of amines. So as the amines get bigger, the dominant force is going to be weak van der Waals forces. The very small amines are very similar in smell to ammonia, very sharp and distinctive odor. And as the amines get bigger, they develop a fishy odor due to the production of amine. Amines will boil at a lower temperature than alcohol. Now the reason why, even though amine and water both have hydrogen bonding, but whenever we have molecules containing hydrogen bonding, you compare the polarity of the bond. The more polar the bond is, the stronger the hydrogen bond is, which means the boiling point will be quite high. Now in this case, we have amines having a bond between nitrogen and hydrogen, and in water the bond is between O and H. And since OH bond is more polar compared to the NH bond, then the amine is going to have a lower temperature. Amines of low molecular masses are soluble in water. Now those amines which are smaller in their structure, they are able to form hydrogen bonding with water, which makes them soluble in water. But like I said earlier, as the amines get bigger and bigger, the weak van der Waals force will also increase in strength, which makes it the dominant bond. Therefore, as the amines get larger, their ability to form hydrogen bond with water will decrease. So the solubility of the amine is going to decrease as the molecular mass of the amine will increase. And then we have primary amines and their comparison in boiling point. Primary amines have a higher boiling point compared to secondary and tertiary amine. And the reason why primary amines have a very high boiling point compared to secondary, because in a primary amine, the nitrogen is attached to two hydrogen atoms. And these hydrogen atoms can easily form hydrogen bonding with the neighboring amine molecule. Let's compare the basicity of amines. Now because amines contain a nitrogen atom which contains a lone pair of electron, amines are very good examples of organic bases. Organic bases are those chemicals which are able to donate their lone pair of electrons or accept a proton. So anything which is able to accept a proton or donate the lone pair of electron is known as a base. Now the presence of the alkyl group in the amine is going to make the amine more basic, which means that primary amines are least basic compared to secondary, which are least basic compared to tertiary. Now the reason why the amines are more basic, because the presence of the alkyl group on the amine is going to provide the electron to the nitrogen. So in this, what really happens is this group, which is the alkyl group, there are electrons involved here, and these electrons are attracted very strongly by the nitrogen. So the stronger the attraction is, the more electron negative nitrogen is going to become. Therefore, it's going to be able to donate the electrons easily, making it more basic. So that is the structure of ammonia. Tertiary amines are more basic than secondary amine, which is more basic than primary amines. So I've already explained why primary amines are less basic compared to secondary amine. So if I am looking at a secondary amine, we will have an alkyl group, a nitrogen group, and another alkyl group here. So we will have two alkyl group connected to the nitrogen, and then it has a hydrogen atom here. Now because remember the alkyl groups are big groups compared to hydrogen, they will carry a lot of electrons. And these electrons can easily be given to the nitrogen. So the more electrons given to the nitrogen, the more basic it will become. In ammonia, we have only hydrogen, and hydrogen is not able to provide as much electrons to the nitrogen as expected from the alkyl group. After looking at some of the basic properties of amines, now let's have a look as to how amines are prepared in the lab. If you recall your previous session where we discussed about the chemistry of alkyl halides, we thoroughly looked at one particular reaction, which was nucleophilic substitution. In a nucleophilic substitution, we learned that an alkyl halide reacts with a nucleophile, where the nucleophile is going to replace the halogen. So let's have a look at one example here now. Now we have bromoethane reacting with ammonia. In this case, ammonia is a nucleophile which is going to replace the bromide ion from the alkyl halide. So this is how the mechanism takes place. The bromide ion is going to be removed. Once the negative ion is removed, another lone pair of electron molecule or a nucleophile is going to come and replace the negative charge. So that's how the replacement is going to happen. One of the important things we have to keep in mind at this stage is nitrogen should have only 3 bonds, which is why you cannot replace the Br with NH3. It has to be NH2. So the nitrogen can have the 3 bonds. Now what happens to the Br that has come out and the extra hydrogen that is coming from the ammonia? Since we have 2 moles of ammonia, we are left with NH4 because one of the NH2 has already been replaced. The other one that's left is NH4, and that NH4 is going to combine with the Br to form ammonium bromide as a byproduct. So ammonium bromide is our inorganic product, whereas our major product is amine, ethane amine. Let's look at another example. This time we are going to have the same amine which we produced in stage production here. You can see that this is the alkyl halide which reacted with ammonia to form primary amine. Okay, the nitrogen is attached to one set of carbon atoms. So this nitrogen directly attached to one carbon, that's a primary amine. Now this primary amine is now used here as a nucleophile. It is used as a nucleophile because the nitrogen is carrying lone pair of electrons. So this primary amine, which is now acting as a nucleophile, is going to react with alkyl halide. So we are going to use the same alkyl halide that we looked at earlier on, which is bromoethane. So the same thing is going to happen here. From the alkyl halide, the bromide is going to be removed and the nucleophile is going to come and replace the Br. Now in this case, our nucleophile is this whole molecule. Therefore, when the nitrogen is going to come and replace the Br, this nitrogen will bring the other carbons with it. So now we have our structure as CH3, which is coming from the alkyl halide. It's shaded in blue so that it's clear that that's the alkyl halide part. CH2, that's the alkyl halide part. Now because the Br is removed, in place of that is going to come the nitrogen. That nitrogen group is going to come and attach itself. And you can see this time it is not NH2 but NH only. Okay, because nitrogen has 3 bonds. So one with hydrogen, one with the carbon here, and the third one will be the group it is going to bring along with it. So that's the CH2 group and the CH3 group. So after you have the organic compound here, let's try to identify what type of compound we have formed. This is this part here. This is an amine because we have an alkyl group and the nitrogen atom. And we have seen how ammonia has been used to make a primary amine. This primary amine has been used now to produce a secondary amine. Okay, so this secondary amine is containing 1 and 2 carbon atoms attached to that. So because the nitrogen is attached to 2 carbon atoms, we say it is a secondary amine. However, you have to note that the nitrogen is still carrying the lone pair of electron, which means that it can still act as a nucleophile. So this secondary amine can act as a nucleophile for another set of reaction, and the reaction can be continued. Now let's look at our byproduct. The hydrogen from amine is going to be removed, and that is going to combine with the Br to produce our product as HBr, which is hydrogen bromide, our inorganic byproduct. So there you have it, students. Now that you have seen how amines look like, what is the chemistry of amine, and we have also compared the basicity of the different types of amines with ammonia. Primary, secondary, tertiary amines are classified according to the fact that the number of carbon atom that is attached to the nitrogen group. So with that in consideration, I hope you have enjoyed the video. I hope you have learned a lot from this session about amines and where they are found in existence. We are going to meet in another session where we're going to be looking at the different type of organic compound. Until then, you take care and bye.